He insulted you, lied about you, maybe even betrayed you. And now, you want to react. You want to say something. But what if the most powerful thing you could do is nothing at all? There's a reason the ancient Stoics didn't waste their words. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. They all knew something most of us don't. Silence isn't weakness. It's control. It's strategy. And sometimes, it's the only way to let karma do its job. Because here's the truth. When someone wrongs you, your first instinct is to fight back, to defend yourself, to make them pay. But what if that's exactly what they want? What if your reaction is the real trap? Today we're talking about the 7 times you should stay silent. Not because you're scared, but because you're smart. Because you understand how the world really works. 1. When they want a reaction. Let's break this down to the bone. Someone comes at you with disrespect. Maybe it's a backhanded compliment, a public put-down, or straight-up lies about you. Your face gets hot, your fists clench, and every cell in your body screams to fire back. But here's what's really happening. They're not just talking, they're setting a trap. That insult, it's bait. That rude comment, it's a hook. And the moment you bite, you're playing their game by their rules. The Stoics saw this coming 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, which we now call Meditations, "The best revenge is to not be like your enemy." Think about that. When someone tries to drag you into the mud, the real power move is to refuse to get dirty. Real-world example. Imagine a coworker who constantly makes little digs about your work. Every time you react, they win. They've got you distracted, frustrated, and wasting energy on their nonsense. But when you stay silent, suddenly their words hang in the air, awkward and unanswered. Now who looks foolish? This isn't about swallowing your pride. It's about being too smart to play a rigged game. Your silence becomes this powerful void where their pettiness just echoes back at them. 2. When you're angry. Anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Seneca wrote entire books about this. He noticed something crucial. In the heat of anger, we become temporarily insane. Neuroscience backs this up. When you're furious, your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, literally goes offline. You're operating on pure lizard brain instinct, and in that state, you will say and do things you'll regret. Practical Stoic technique. The next time someone makes you see red, impose a mandatory waiting period. Tell yourself, if I still want to say this in 24 hours, I will. Almost always, you won't. Historical example. When Julius Caesar was handed reports that his wife might be cheating, he did something shocking for a powerful Roman. He divorced her without saying why. His famous line? Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. No outburst, no public drama. Just decisive action from a clear mind. 3. When they won't listen. There's an old Stoic teaching story. A student kept arguing with his teacher, refusing to accept the lessons. Finally, the teacher stopped talking and poured the student a cup of tea. He kept pouring until tea overflowed onto the floor. "Stop!" the student cried. "The cup can't hold anymore." The teacher replied, "Exactly. Like this cup, your mind is too full of your own ideas to learn anything new." Modern translation. You can't educate someone who's committed to misunderstanding you. Whether it's that anti-vax uncle at Thanksgiving or the coworker who always knows better, some people would rather be right than learn. The Stoic solution? Stop talking. Not out of anger, but out of wisdom. As Epictetus put it, if someone criticizes you and they're right, Learn from it. If they're wrong, laugh inside and move on. 4. When you're tempted to gossip. Let's get real about gossip. It's social cocaine. It gives you an immediate rush of connection and superiority, but the crash always comes. The Stoics saw gossip for what it really is: emotional theft. When you talk about someone behind their back, you're stealing 3 things. 1. Their reputation, even if what you're saying is true. 2. Your own integrity. 3. The listener's time. Marcus Aurelius had a brutal rule. Before speaking, ask yourself, is this necessary? Most gossip fails this test instantly. Psychological insight. Studies show that gossip actually increases anxiety in the gossiper. That temporary high, it's followed by subconscious guilt and paranoia. If they'll talk about others with me. 5. When you're about to brag. Here's the paradox of bragging. The more you do it, the less impressive you become. The Stoics understood status dynamics better than modern Instagram influencers. They knew that true respect comes from understatement. When you let others discover your accomplishments rather than announcing them, they feel smarter for figuring you out. Psychological trick. The next time you achieve something big, try this experiment. Tell no one. Notice how powerful it feels to have a secret victory. As Seneca wrote, "The wise man carries his wealth within him." Historical example. When George Washington was unanimously elected first U.S. president, he didn't throw a victory party. He wrote in his diary about his anxiety over the responsibility. That humility made him even more respected. 6. When they're digging their own grave. Tough love. Stoic truth. Some people need to fail to learn. Your warnings are actually delaying their education. Modern example. That friend who keeps dating toxic partners despite your advice. Every time you rescue them, you rob them of the consequences that might finally make them change. Epictetus was brutal about this. If you want to improve, be content to appear clueless. Sometimes the kindest thing is to let someone hit bottom so they can push off. 7. When you're winning. The ultimate test of character isn't how you handle defeat, it's how you handle victory. Ancient example. When Scipio Africanus defeated Rome's greatest enemy Hannibal, they offered to make him dictator for life. He refused, retired to his farm, and spent his last years reading philosophy. Modern translation. When you win big, resist the urge to gloat or rub it in. Your silence speaks volumes about your true strength. In a world addicted to hot takes and clapbacks, strategic silence is the ultimate power move. The Stoics weren't advocating being a doormat. They were teaching how to pick battles like a general. Your words are limited ammunition. Spend them wisely. If this changed how you see silence, subscribe. More philosophy coming.